Let's go to line number 1. Hello, John. You're on the air.
Hi, Patty. How's it going?
Top shelf today, you?
Not too bad.
Cool, man.
The reason why I'm calling is, I guess, is this whole new sentiment out there that the media is getting a lot of backfire for this Muskrat Falls debate. They're saying that, especially since Peter Cashin came out with it, there are a lot of people saying that the media aren't digging far enough into it. And so I just wanted to say, and as I wrote yesterday in my blog, it's completely unfair. I mean, especially the single out David Cochran, who, to call him a government apologist doesn't make any sense whatsoever, especially considering the way he covered the Bill 29 debate. I mean, that was, government ministers calling him an amateur. So I just wanted to comment on that. I thought it was ridiculous.
Cochran is like the rest of us. Well, you take your knocks, like I am here today. That's all fine and dandy, and it's part of the game, except that sometimes people can dig as far as they want. And to Wayne Gursky's point, and the point you made in your blog, is there's not always a smoking gun that can be found. So investigative journalism is important, but you can only ask questions and get answers that are available. Digging into hearts and minds and looking for a smoking gun, trying to sometimes manufacture the smoking gun, does nobody any good. Are there questions that have gone unanswered? Maybe so, but that doesn't mean that Cochran and others are not doing a good job. I thought it was a bit much, as I said so on the show.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. But you call it a smoking gun. I call people looking for a boogeyman. And I think to the beginning, before this became even a big issue, is that, the government has done an absolutely terrible job of trying to sell this project. I mean, if I sit here today and I try to wonder why is the project doing this, and it's hard to come up with a single discernible reason. I mean, they've come up with the 2 questions rhetoric and stuff like that. But it's really hard to single out why this government is doing it, especially in growing opposition. I mean, there's people... the article in the Financial Post today, there's all kinds of people attacking this project, and there doesn't seem to be a government here that's going to stand up for it. So they've done a terrible job selling it, and I think it goes back to Kathy Dunderdale replacing Daniel Williams. I mean, she's not Daniel Williams, and she's doing a terrible job selling it. And just one other point is that they went to Nalcor. When they went to Nalcor, they should have asked, what is the least cost option right from the very beginning? But instead, they said, justify to us that Muskrat Falls is actually the least cost option. So there wasn't a full analysis of all the options right from the get-go.
That's a huge problem. Many people have pointed to that, and I think that's fair. But those who are, whether it be Mr. Verdi or Penny or Cashin or Hearn or Brown or anybody else, and I hesitate to lump some in together. People take that personally when it's not offered as such. Some of the questions they're asking are completely legitimate, have to be answered. We deserve the answer. It's my money that they're spending on Muskrat Falls. But some of the exaggerations and some of the vitriolic talk, some of the speculation involved in some of those questions are not doing anybody any favors. They're not getting us any closer to a legitimate understanding of the options and the costs. But, that's up to people. I would say the motivation for 99% of the folks opposed is real. They're frustrated now. Some of that's government's fault, but the frustration has led to what is maybe witch hunt stuff in some areas, and that's not doing anybody any good.
But the problem is that there's 2 sides here now. This debate has become extremely polarized, and there's two sides of the debate, and it's now clear that neither side is listening to one another. And I think one of the biggest reasons why that's happened is because the government has done a terrible job of telling us why we should do this project. And now here we all are. People, by calling your program, they're looking for reasons for why we're doing this. And, we want independent reviews done on what are the good reasons to do this project. You don't like the PUB example, but they were hamstrung. Every single independent review has been hamstrung or been shut up by this government, basically. So, there are people like myself, I haven't made up my mind on this, but there are a lot of reasons not to like it. And the government isn't saying, here's the reasons why we're doing this, here's the reasons why this is such a good project. We're sinking $6 billion into this. This isn't, we look at Upper Churchill and say, what a terrible deal that was. But that was just an opportunity missed for, for example, where we're going to be $6 to $8 billion in the hole.
Well, yeah. The technical debt piece here is, people are going to talk about net debt, gross debt, the burden on the taxpayer, the burden on the provincial government. It's all a bit of a tangle here. We don't spell it out in frank terms, and I think you're right that sometimes the government can be held accountable for making this as controversial and polarizing as it is, now whether or not that is their strategy right from the get-go, if so, it's flawed, and we're no further ahead here, and we've been a couple of years now beating this around, and I don't think we've made one single stride to come into not only complete understanding, but to any real, legitimate, straight-to-the-merit conversation.
Exactly. And, I mean, going back to the media part, I think part of the proof that they're doing their job is you just look at the polls. I mean, this government is sinking in popularity at drastic results. I mean, going from 70% support down to 40% support. So, I mean, if the media wasn't there as a medium to give this information to the electorate, I mean, this wouldn't be happening in the polls. And I think in order for this government to save themselves, they just had to change their approach. They just had to open everything up and say, look, here's everything. You know, we're not hiding anything anymore. Just completely, that would knock all the tinfoil hat theorists right out of the park right there, as long as they could just come out, open everything up. But they just want to jam this down our throats for some reason. Yeah, maybe so. And not everybody's got a tinfoil hat on. Some of them may do it part-time, but I just don't know. I hesitate to throw them all into the one pot because it's not fair, nor is it real. No, absolutely not.
But
there's some good ones, and
of course, listen, and if people got concerns, then they should voice them. That's the beauty of the show. Once again, I haven't denied one single person a shot at some airtime here. If and when they want, pick up the phone. I don't know how else we can approach it other than that. That is the best offer I have for anybody. John, I'm glad you took the opportunity to call today. Your blog is, I think, pressingpolitics at WordPress.com, right?
pressingpolitics.wordpress.com, yeah.
Okay, people can check it out. John, you're one of our Twitter followers. We appreciate that, and stay in touch with the program. You're always welcome.
Will do. Thanks, Patty.
Okay, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know what else to say on that front. Some people are sick and tired of the Muskrat Falls debate. Well, I'm approaching that stage, but because it's so important, I'm happy to keep it going. Talk right through. We get some sort of decision-making point here of this godforsaken deal and the godforsaken conversation that accompanies it. So that's fine.